Rachel Nichols drops the truth on LeBron James All-Star snub. Is this his final season in Los Angeles?
I think it's pretty clear that the Lakers, no matter what happens at the end of the season, no matter how far they get, unless, I guess, they win the title, which is not the most likely outcome.
Not with that defense.
I just don't see him in their plans past this summer. They didn't offer him an extension. They're going to have to give more money to Austin Reeves. They're going to have to beef up the defense. So I just don't think they want to sign a 41-year-old for another year or two.
For the first time in LeBron James' career, the talk isn't about how great he still is or how long he can play. Now it's about whether the league, the fans, and even his own team are ready to move on. When Rachel Nichols broke down his all-star situation and future with the Lakers, it was clear this isn't just noise. This is a warning.
All-star voting, fan vote, first coming out. They were the usual suspects at the top, Luka Doncic, Giannis, but notably, one LeBron James was down at the bottom of the top 10. I think he was 8th in Western Conference,
7th or 8th,
in that range, which, leads to the broader question of will LeBron make the All-Star team? I've been pretty adamant for the last week that he wasn't going to make it.
You've been ahead on this.
I anticipated the All-Star voting to be better for him, but I thought the player vote, or the player vote and the media vote would not be good for him.
So here's the question. Are we watching LeBron's decline in real time, or have fans already written him out of the future? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.
Because we were talking about it last week, and I think the fans generally are voting in the right direction. If you look at who's the top of those lists, they get 50% of the vote, the media gets 25% of the vote, the players get 25% of the vote, but the fan vote's a good indicator, right, on where things are going. I think you've been right when you say the coaches are less likely to put him on the reserves. Just the coaches tend to really reward like insider basketball picks more than they do names. I do think, though, whether it's the coaches or eventually Adam Silver, and we'll get to that in a minute, I think, and the players too, there's an appreciation of LeBron that sometimes the media and fans are so quick to jump into analysis of him and how he's playing. I think there's a lot of players in the league who still, really think, man, what that guy is doing is incredible.
When the first All-Star fan voting results came out, everyone expected the usual names at the top. Luka Doncic, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Nikola Jokic. No surprises there. But what shocked fans was where LeBron James landed. Instead of near the top, like he's been for over 20 years, he was barely inside the top 10 in the Western Conference. Suddenly, the unthinkable question arose. Is LeBron even an all-star starter anymore?
And then the real thing that could shift it is this new format, which is USA versus the world. And the idea is to have 8 players from the world and 16 players from the USA. However, they're not voting that way. The voting is still Eastern Conference, Western Conference. And the reason for that is, as I always say, team ownership in the East wants an all-star on their team that they can sell tickets for on the back end of the season. So there will always be East-West voting, no matter what format we have. But once you have those East-West pool in and you stick them back all together into one pool, if there aren't 8 international players or if there aren't quite 16 American players, Adam Silver is the one who appoints the final American players.
Rachel Nichols had been saying for over a week that she didn't think LeBron would be voted in as a starter. And she even questioned whether he'd make the All-Star team at all through the normal process. Her reasoning was simple and hard to argue. Fan voting counts for 50%, media 25%, and players the final 25%. If LeBron finishes 7th, 8th, or 9th in fan voting, his chances of starting are almost gone. On top of that, coaches usually reward current impact over legacy when casting their votes.
If Adam Silver appointed LeBron, he's played in 21, he hasn't played in 21. He's been appointed to 21, voted into 21 All-Star games. He didn't play last year, and he started in 20 of them, or voted as a starter in 20 of them. And I don't know, one of the reasons I thought this was a big deal when you brought it up last week is, does he use that weekend to announce that he's wrapping up after the season?
That would be interesting, and You've been on that for at least a week now, probably longer.
What stood out most was that Rachel Nichols wasn't surprised by the results. She pointed out that LeBron missed a big chunk of the season, whether due to injuries, rest, or load management. He wasn't consistently available. He didn't establish a rhythm early, and from a fan perspective, that matters. Fans may respect LeBron's career, but they're no longer willing to blindly vote him into the starting lineup just because of his name. Respect doesn't automatically earn votes anymore.
My question with that is, like, if LeBron doesn't make it through traditional methods,
Sure.
would he want that appointment? Remember, he didn't play in the game last year, chalked it up to injuries, what have you. Do you think that he would want a last-minute appointment by the commissioner, or would someone like him say, I don't need it?
I want to go to
I'd
Cabo,
rather-
which is
I'd
what
rather
I
go
believe
be
what
on a
he did
banana
last
boat
year.
somewhere and do my thing.
Right.
What do you think? You've covered him a long time. Do you think he would want that appointment?
I think it really depends on where his head is at in terms of how much longer he's going to play. I think it's pretty clear that the Lakers, no matter what happens at the end of the season, no matter how far they get, unless, I guess, they win the title, which is not the most likely outcome.
How about that defense?
I just don't see him in their plans for past this summer. They didn't offer him an extension. They're going to have to give more money to Austin Reeves. They're going to have to beef up the defense. So I just don't think they want to sign a 41-year-old for another year or two.
There's also the reality of how LeBron looks on the court. Offensively, he can still put up numbers, but defensively, he's clearly declined. He picks his spots, conserves energy, and fans notice. Combine that with missed games, inconsistent defense, and a struggling Lakers team, and patience wears thin. For the first time, fans are judging LeBron like a normal star, not an untouchable legend. Rachel Nichols then shifted the conversation to something bigger than the All-Star game: LeBron's future with the Lakers. According to her, unless the Lakers somehow win a championship, she doesn't see him in their plans beyond this summer. They didn't offer an extension, they need to pay Austin Reeves, and they must invest in defense. Committing big money to a 41-year-old, even one named LeBron James, doesn't make sense for their direction. The Lakers are quietly preparing for life after LeBron. It's not about disrespect, it's about planning for Adam Silver. With the new USA vs. World All-Star format, the commissioner can appoint players if roster balance requires it. There's a real chance LeBron could still get in through an appointment rather than traditional voting. But that raises another question Nichols asked. Would LeBron even want that? Would he want to be a commissioner's pick instead of earning it outright? Or would he skip the weekend altogether to avoid the optics and protect his legacy? That choice likely depends on whether he's already decided this season is his last. Nichols suggested that if it is, then taking an all-star spot, even through appointment, would make sense. After all, Michael Jordan did it. Legends have done it before. You take your bows. You let the league celebrate you won last time. But if LeBron hasn't accepted that reality yet, things get complicated that LeBron has never been unwanted. From childhood, teams wanted him. Coaches built around him. This would be the first time a franchise looks at him and says, we're going in a different direction. Processing that isn't easy for someone whose entire identity has been being the center of the basketball universe. Other teams would still be interested: the Clippers, the Warriors, Cleveland. From a business standpoint, LeBron still sells tickets, fills arenas, moves jerseys. But fitting him into a contender without sacrificing flexibility isn't simple. Uprooting his family, especially after building a life in Los Angeles, isn't a small decision either. When you put it all together, the All-Star voting starts to look like a smoke signal. Fans aren't angry. They aren't rioting. They're quietly moving on, and that might be the loudest message of all. Being ninth in voting isn't disrespect. It's reality that LeBron has always controlled the narrative. Announcing a retirement during All-Star Weekend would flip the story. Instead of fans moving on, it becomes a celebration. But if he keeps playing games, the league and the fans respond the same way they did this year. Rachel Nichols didn't say LeBron is washed. She didn't say he can't play. What she said is far more impactful. The Lakers don't see him in their future. And once that happens, everything changes. The All-Star votes, the media tone, the league's priorities that LeBron James is one of the greatest players the NBA has ever seen. That's not up for debate. But greatness doesn't stop time. It doesn't stop younger stars from rising. and it doesn't guarantee you a permanent spot. The All-Star voting made that clear. The Lakers' silence made that clear. Nichols saying it out loud confirmed what many were already thinking. This might not just be LeBron's last season in Los Angeles. It might be the moment the NBA officially turned the page. And whether LeBron is ready to accept it or not, the league is already moving forward. What makes this moment different isn't the decline, the missed games, or the All-Star voting. It's the silence. There's no league-wide outrage, no massive pushback, no how dare you disrespect LeBron energy like before. The NBA didn't stop. The conversation didn't pause. It just kept moving. For a player who once controlled the gravitational pull of the league, that quiet shift says more than any hot take ever could. LeBron is facing something he's never truly had to face: irrelevance to the future. Not the past, not history, but what comes next. Teams are no longer asking, how do we build around LeBron? They're asking, how do we build after him? That's a brutal transition for any superstar. For the first time, LeBron isn't the solution. He's the variable.